Hey guys, welcome back to Out of the Park Baseball 22 with the Detroit Tigers. You can probably hear my air conditioner in the background. I apologize, but it's hot, so my AC's on. I don't think it's going to be too terrible. If it is, I'll deal with it in editing. At any rate, it is May 1st, 2029. We are into year number, is this year number 9? Year number 9, year number 9. We started here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We are into year number 9. We are 14-9, which is good for tied for first place in the AL Central. We've got a pretty good American League Central this year from the looks of it. Kansas City and Detroit tied at 14-9. Minnesota at 13-9. And the goal here is to get through June, get up to July, and do that July episode next. So let's take a quick look at the team stats. And pitching has been it's been okay. I think we may have. I'll show you when we get there. But Carson Hamro, his first year with us, we picked him up obviously from the Red Sox in exchange for Lou. Last offseason, so far he's 2-3, but with a 3.77 ERA. Opponents hitting only .226 against him. He's given up 4 home runs in 31 innings, a little bit higher than I would like, but his movement sort of indicates that might be a little bit of a problem. 34 strikeouts, only 7 walks in those 31 innings. Gotten off to a good start. Traven Balog has had an okay year, 4.78 ERA so far. He's walking too many, walking about 4 per 9. Yeah, I mean, his walk to strikeout ratio is pretty bad. Only 2.3 walks to strikeout, so that's not great. But, he's still young. He's only, 25? Yeah, and his ratings suggest that he's going to be at throwing 101 miles an hour. His ratings indicate that he'll be better than that. Rest of our starters, Jackson Jobe, he's struggling a bit too. 5.16 ERA. Hayden Jones, 4.81, but that FIP is really high, so he's having a rough go of it too. We're giving up too many home runs. I mean, you look at Hamro, Jobe, Hayden Jones, and Munoz are all giving up more than a home run per 9, and for someone like Victor Munoz, I guess that's a little high, but his walk numbers are high too. So a lot of really high walks per 9 that I'm hoping will kind of work themselves out here early. Our bullpen's been pretty good, with the exception of Victor Juarez, who we are going to switch from his role of use more often. We're going to avoid high leverage, and Sproat will move into the use more often role. But yeah, I mean, our pitching staff's been okay. Hasn't been great, with the exception of Carpintero. I would say none of our bullpen has been great. Hill's been pretty good. Galindo's been pretty good. Carpintero's been very good. And starters, Hamro's been okay, and everyone else has been below average. So part of my reasoning for that is Josh Collins still isn't developing a positional rating. So I thought that might have something to do with it, but the catcher's ERA is actually better than Gomez. You see Gomez, who's the better defensive catcher, is at 440. Got a 445 team ERA with him catching. Collins is at 360. So that's not it. Gomez has actually been really terrible. I guess efficiency with a catcher doesn't really matter, but yeah, my catching situation hasn't been great. I mean, defensively, we are not the team we have been in recent years. Ben Ortega is just awful in the outfield, and we'll show you stats here in a second, but Rodriguez and Ortega are both very, very bad defensively, and that makes up 2/3 of my outfield. Not my regular outfield, as we got Ramos out there with Elijah Green. So Ortega's just been that bad look at that 688 efficiency. That's just terrible. Anyway, let's look at the batting stats before we start simming here. Nobody at a full WAR yet, but we have Ramos and Meyer both at 0.9. Marcelo Meyer at that 820 OPS at the catcher or at the shortstop position. Everything is up a little bit this year, average on base and slugging. Ramos having a really nice start to the season, 338. Elijah Green leads us in RBIs. Julio Rodriguez leads us in home runs with a high batting average, but no real... It's been a weird season. 321, 418, 590, but only one double in 22 games. He hit 36 a year ago, so we'll see where that ends up. Alex Green has had a bit of a down season compared to last year. The on-base percentages is up, but the slugging is down, and he's got people breathing down his neck. He's got Chris Miller and Nelson Lopez both breathing down his neck, so we are going to need more out of Alex Green here than an 800 OPS, especially with him being a 4-star player. We could potentially move him and get something pretty valuable in return, but I'm not thinking that far ahead. Cam Collier, not getting it done so far. He's never going to replace Lou, so I can't think like he's going to. But if he can play solid defensively, which he's done so far, and provide some pop, we'll be fine, but struggling so far. John Todd, he's, again, got an empty batting average, and even his batting average is not good. 257, 297 on base percentage, playing good defense, but still not getting it done with it. Yeah, I mean, a lot of our young players, Bob Ortega, he's got 4 home runs. He's got a 625 slugging, which is nice. We talked about how bad the fielding is, but Ortega's not hitting, Collins isn't hitting, Miller isn't hitting, Spikes isn't hitting. So we've got some players who are struggling, yet we still sit 14-9. So I'm not too terribly concerned right now. We'll see how things play out over the next month and kind of see how it goes from there. I'm hoping once we get to June, because we had a bad first month last year too, and the year before that actually, and we ended up fine. So I'm hopeful that we will be able to turn it around here over the next 4 weeks. Minor league hasn't started yet, so there's nothing to show you there. So I think that's about it. I mean, we're 14-9. We're in first place, tied for first place, a game and a half up, but only a game out of fourth, as Kansas City, Detroit, Minnesota, and Cleveland all doing really, really well. So I'm going to sim ahead. I'll stop either on June 1st or if something of note happens. I can't imagine anything of note's going to happen unless someone gets injured or I make a decision to pull the trigger on an early season trade if things get off to a rough start for us. So I'll be back in June, or I'll be back if something of note happens. Hang tight. All right, we're back. It is June 1st. We're 29-22. We were 15-13 in May after a 14-9 April. 29-22, 2.5 games out of first place. We're in third place in the American League Central behind Cleveland and Minnesota. And I have a trade lined up that I've been struggling with now for, about an hour or so, because it involves a division rival, and it involves a team that's ahead of us in the standings. I don't know how real world this would be, but from a video game perspective, knowing what our roster looks like, this trade makes a ton of sense to me. And I think I'm going to pull the trigger, but I wanted to show it to you guys before we actually did it. So, if we go to initiate trade and we go to the Minnesota Twins, they are asking for first baseman Alex Green. And we talked about Green. He's down this year from last year. His on-base percentage is about the same, but his slugging is down about 40 points. His average is down about 15 points. On base down about 40. His OPS plus, he's basically been a league average hitter. Yeah, I mean, he's been okay this year, but he hasn't been great by any means. He's been slightly above average defensively, and he's not really providing any real benefit to us on the base paths either. He's only stolen, 2 bases? Yeah. So I offered him up, and Minnesota offered us a starting pitcher. And I don't know if you guys saw it there for a second before I deleted it, but they offered us Carter Daniels. And you can see Carter Daniels is out here. He'll be back in 5 to 6 weeks. I already looked at his injury history, and this was his first major injury. He had a torn hangnail a couple of years ago, but this is his first major injury. He's back in a month and a half, and I just want to show you Carter Daniels' pitching ratings. This is what we would be getting in exchange for Alex Green. A 4.5 star, 3.5 star, 4.5 star starting pitcher with a 96 to 98 mile an hour fastball, an absolutely wipeout slider, and a well above average changeup. He's got great stuff, average movement, average control. You can see last year he was 8-6 in 20 starts, struck out 148 batters in 110 innings. I mean, he spent 3 years in the big leagues. He's gotten better each year. and he strikes out an absolute crap ton of batters. And that would give us, once he's back from injury, just an amazing starting rotation from a stat or a ratings perspective. We've got Munoz, Hamro, Balog, Hayden Jones, and Jackson Jobe, who would likely move to the bullpen in this scenario. But we've got the 3-star, 4-star, 24-year-old. We've got the 3.5-star, 4-star, 25-year-old. We've got a 3.5-star, 4-star, 26-year-old, and then a 4.5-star, 5-star, 28-year-old. I mean, our rotation, and that doesn't even count Zarate, who is still in AAA. So we have this is an opportunity, I think, for us to call up Nelson Lopez. He bats lefty, and Miller's also a lefty. Damn, I was hoping one of them was a righty and I could just platoon them. But this will give me an opportunity to play both Nelson and Miller. I could call up, he's also bad against lefties. So I'd call up Nelson Lopez, and then just rotate Nelson, Lopez, and Chris Miller at first base, and I think we would more than make up for the production we're getting from Alex Green. So I wanted to show you guys this deal. I don't normally like making trades with division rivals, and my assistant GM doesn't like it, but I feel like this is... let's see if I can get them to just eat the rest of his contract. No, really? Okay. They don't want to eat any of the contract. Okay. But this feels like we are dealing from a position of power. And in addition to that, Minnesota right now is playing Ryan Vilade at first base for them. He's making $17 million this year, and he's got a player option for $20 next year. My hope is that they take Green and they either stick him in the lineup and they get this bat that's hitting 370 out of their lineup, or they leave Vilade in there because of what he's getting paid. I'm hoping that the Twins screw up the roster decision. So that's where we are. I'm going to pull the trigger here. Carter Daniels will sit on the DL for another 5 or 6 weeks, but that's going to be a huge trade line acquisition for us. So Carter Daniels. Fans don't like that we let Alex Green go. We get a noticeable bump for bringing in Carter Daniels. We're currently at 84. So Carter Daniels is the newest member of the Detroit Tigers. He'll go on the 15-day DL. We'll call up Lopez. And then the one thing we're lacking right now is home run power. I guess we're really not. We're third in home runs. A lot of that's Julio Rodriguez, though. I mean, just look at the season he's having so far. 17 home runs, 37 knocked in. He's hitting 380 in 50 games. All right. So I think we're going to go with Nelson Lopez as our starting first base. He's not going to bat second. I think we'll bat Todd second because he's got that 100 contact, and then we'll kind of do something like that. And then Miller and Lopez can just essentially rotate games. It'll be Lopez one game followed by Miller the next. Same thing here. He's not going to bat leadoff, though. We'll bat Todd at leadoff, and Nelson will go towards the bottom because neither of them hit lefties particularly well. So, actually, maybe we do this. Let's see if we can get Ortega some time at first base. I mean, that bat will play fine at first if he can get... I mean, his bat will play really well, especially with how well he hits. I mean, if we have an Ortega and then Lopez/Miller rotation at first base, I mean, I'll take it. All right. So we're going to run with that. We may want to pick up a defensive-minded outfielder at some point, as we're running right now with Caranto, Miller, and Lopez as our backup players, I guess. We don't really have an outfielder that can get it done, but I felt like that was the right decision to make. So it's June 1st, so let's go ahead and we'll sim up to the draft pool announcement, and then I will sim the rest of the month offline. So let's see how it goes here as we take on the Columbus Pride, which is the Baltimore Orioles. We win one and then lose one. And then so we take 2 out of 3 from Columbus. We're 2.5 out. Hoping for a hot streak here in June. We win and we lose. So Adam Hill's out for 1 to 2 weeks. We're 4 games out of first place. That's not good. Zarate, he's pitching pretty well. Let's give, actually, Jackson Rees. Call him up. All right, so we are third place, 4 games out. Let's get up to the 11th. Look at the draft pool announcement. 32 and 25, 33 and 25 as we beat Kansas City. We beat Kansas City again, so we hit 2 out of 3 from the Royals. We're 9 games over 500. Make it 10 games over 500. So we win 3 out of 4. Collier goes 3 for 6 in this one. Lopez off to a hot start. 1 for, well, so far he is at 412 through, sorry, my phone's buzzing. Through 4 games, sorry. Gomez had a couple hits. Balog pitched okay. Next game was a 6-3 victory. Spikes 2 for 3, 4 RBIs. A lot of new names in our lineup. And guys, hang on just a second. Okay, sorry about that. I had to take that phone call. So we are at the 11th. We're 35 and 25, 10 games over 500, 2 games behind the Indians, a game and a half behind the Twins. The Indians, how are they doing it, man? I mean, they got decent pitching staff. I wouldn't say it's better than ours. I would say it's a decent pitching staff. Their offense, not as good as us. But somehow they are managing. Okay, so they got this guy who is really good, but he is hurt right now. Tanner Waldrop. So I mean, they're okay. They're an okay team. I wouldn't say they're better than us, and I wouldn't say they're better than Minnesota. And Minnesota's just got that pitching staff, man. Tony Miller, Ivan Sanchez. They've just, look at this kid. Look at this. He's 21 years old. This is scary good. So, Twins got a good pitching staff. We have a good pitching staff. It's going to be bolstered even more when we get Carter Daniels back in July. Looking forward to that. Our numbers are starting to look a little better. Victor Munoz got that ERA down to 3.5. Trayvon Balog down to 3.5. Carson Hamro's struggling a bit. I think he'll be okay, but he's struggling a bit. Hayden Jones is struggling. Record's good, but ERA is struggling. And Job is okay. Job's been fine as our 5th starter, but like I said, he'll probably move to the bullpen when we get Daniels back. Offensively, Todd is moved up to the number 2 spot. He's doing okay. Spikes putting up almost an 800 OPS. Collier's starting to hit a bit. Nelson Lopez, what's that, 7 for 17? Is that what that is? Yeah, 7 for 17 with a homer and 4 RBIs here early on. So he's been fine. Yeah, so, I mean, I think we're doing okay. Our revenue per game is right around where it was last year, up a tiny bit. You can see our potential budget for next year is at almost $140 million. So, as I always say, decisions are going to have to be made next year, but those are decisions for next year. I wanted to look at we are picking 30th. Okay. Mock draft has us taking Bob Rice. A below average contact. He's from Detroit, so maybe that makes sense. Below average contact, below average gap power, good home run, good eye, good discipline. So he's going to hit for a low average, but potentially some decent home run power. Let's look at the draft pool. Pitching's okay. There's not a ton of talent here. A couple of pretty good starting pitchers, but it looks to be a below average pitching draft. And below average offensive draft as well. A couple of pretty solid performers in here. And Kazarowski, Ethan Robertson looks to be pretty good. But yeah, this isn't going to be a very good draft, I don't think. Do we have a comp pick as well? We don't. Okay, so we have the 30th pick and the 70th pick. 57 and 8 is 65. So the 30th pick and the 65th pick. So we'll just sort of have to see what ends up happening there. As Kazarowski going 19th to the Rockies. He looked to be the best offensive player in the draft. All right. So yeah, I think we're okay from a trade perspective right now. We're just gonna keep let's just keep simming ahead while we're talking here. So we're 10 games out. When we get to July, we'll look at our needs. I don't really know what those needs are. I mean, we've looked pretty sharp. Jordan Castro is back from injury, so I'm gonna put him in Triple A for now. He might be the one that. Let's see who do we replace him? Who does he replace? Are the words that are trying to come out of my mouth. We can't send Miller down because he's a Rule 5 guy. I don't want to send Caranto down because he's our only middle infielder. We can't send Ortega down because he is a Rule 5 guy as well. So I think Castro just stays in AAA until roster expansion. And then we call him up. And then really, we could be looking at a situation next season where, maybe we move on from Ramos and we stick Castro in left, or we move on from Todd, we make Spikes our starting second baseman. I don't know. I'm getting ahead of myself here. So we lost first game against Texas, won the second game 7-2. Meyer 4 for 5, Rodriguez 4 for 4, 3 RBIs, Lopez 2 more hits, Hamro picks up the win. We are 3 games out of first place. We pick up another win over Texas. We get Kansas City again. We win again. So we move into second place. 4 games out of first. And then we lose. So we're 4 games out. We're 38-28. Anything interesting going on that we need to look at? No. Jackson Reeves injury diagnosis. He's okay. What is our... And I know this isn't the be-all, end-all, but... Yeah, so Gomez got a 3.92. Collins got a 4.20. They've both been okay defensively. I don't understand why Collins isn't developing a positional rating. If anybody can figure that out, let me know. These offensive ratings as a backup catcher are just fantastic. Look at this. He's putting up an 863 OPS as our backup. I don't know why he's not developing any positional ratings, especially with a high work ethic. I can deal with his ratings. I just want to see something grow there. So I don't know if it's something I'm doing or what, but maybe a defensive catcher to help that team ERA come down a little bit, because as everybody knows, catcher ability is sort of the out of the park baseball cheat code. Yeah, but some of the ratings are well, I don't know. Balog has gone back up. Hamro's at 5.15. Job's at 4.2. Jones at 5.3. So yeah, it hasn't been very good. Only Munoz is really the only one pitching well. So, all right, so we got a 3-game series against Minnesota. Big 3-game series against Minnesota. We win the first game, win the second game, and we lose the third. Okay, so we win 3-1, 10-8, and then lose 8-7. Ooh, they scored 3 in the bottom of the 9th. Off of Takelet. Why was Takelet in the game and not Carpintero? Ugh. That's no good. All right, so we're 4 games out, 40-29, taking on the Houston Astros now. Houston 31-38, so we beat them 7-3 in the first game. Green 2 for 5, Todd 2 for 5, Spikes with a 3-run homer. Gomez goes 2 for 4 with a couple of home runs. And Job pitches 5 innings, gives up 3 runs, and walks 5. Bullpen pitched really well. Let's keep going. 3.5 out. We get blown out 13-2. And that was with Munoz on the mound. So something is going on with our pitching staff. Something is going on with our pitching staff for sure. Sam McConnell is our... Yeah, this doesn't make any sense. Excellent relationship. Legendary at teaching pitching. But our team ERA is up, almost a third of a run. 19 and 14. It's up exactly a third of a run this year. All right, we'll continue to let him plug away and see if we can figure it out. We lose again. Okay. Jackson Rees, Juarez. Let's just put Adam Hill on a rehab assignment for now. At least we're only 3.5 out, so it looks like the Indians have lost a couple of games too. Would be nice here to win a few games down the stretch. We got Cincinnati, followed by, I'm assuming those are the Angels. Cincinnati's in last place. And we lose Elijah Green for 4 months. Out freaking standing. And we lose again to Cincinnati. So we're now 5 games out of first place. Okay, so Jordan Castro, I guess, will come up. And he's going to go right in the lineup. And where's he going to play? Because Ramos is going to play center. Do we just stick him in left? I guess. Yeah, and then against lefties, Castro will play left. Ramos will play center. Not exactly what I wanted here, but yeah, this isn't good. So we lose Elijah Green for the season. That sucks. I don't know how else to describe it. That sucks. With a ruptured finger tendon. We're still in the lead for the wild card, but this certainly has not been our season. So let's just get to July 1st. We'll recap the stats, and then hopefully we can have a hot second half of the season without our starting center fielder. So we win 2 out of 3 there. We beat Cincinnati, then we lose to the Angels, then we beat the Angels. Carson Hamro was really good. Castro goes 2 for 4 with 3 RBIs. Hamro almost goes the distance. Has that ERA down to 4, so that's a plus. 4.5 games out of first place. Still plenty of time to get back into it, though. Julio Rodriguez still leads the American League, leads all the majors in hitting. So that's a plus. 43 and 34. So, yeah, we've been okay. I mean, I don't want to sit here and say that we've played poorly. I mean, we're 44 and 34 right now. Just took 2 out of 3 from Los Angeles. Balog got the start. Juarez blew the save, but we ended up picking up the win. Ramos homers. Rodriguez homers twice. Spikes homers. Ortega, I mean, he's getting better at first base. He's, never going to field, I think, good enough to be a regular, but he's got to hit better than that. So we may need to put him on the bench for the time being. Our first base tandem of Miller and Lopez are hitting about 265. Not really doing any worse, honestly, than what we were getting out of our previous first baseman. Just Collier with 3 RBIs. Rodriguez is carrying us. 25 home runs, 60 RBIs through 78 games. Player development. Takelet got better. Sproat got worse. Munoz, 4.5 stars. He's been fine, though. Hayden Jones got a little worse. Hamro, partially better, partially worse. Carpintero got better. Collins got better. Still no defensive ratings at catcher. I don't understand it. Elijah Green got better even though he's out for the year. As I kick my desk, Jake Desmond hitting the ball really well in Double-A. He'll get the call up to Triple-A here shortly. Oh, wow. He's really good defensively, too. That came out of nowhere. O'Grady, he stagnated a bit. Bailey is out with bone spurs, but he got better. He's up to 2-star, 4-star. When he comes back, we'll let him get some time in Single-A. Julio Rodriguez, AL Batter of the Month. Giolito wins the Pitcher of the Month, and John Hogger is your Rookie of the Month. All right, so we're 3.5 games out. It's not terrible. It's not terrible. I mean, I'm sitting here talking about, the struggles of our pitching staff. We have the fourth best ERA in the American League, the third best bullpen ERA, and we have the third best offense, fourth best pitching. And I'm talking about it being a bad season. So it's been a down season, but I think we're okay. We're okay right now. If we look at pitching, Hamro and Munoz both over one WAR. Hamro 95 innings, 95 Ks. ERA is a bit high for my liking, but it looks like he had a better, really good June. Really, really good June. Good April. So really he's had 2 really solid months and 1 bad month. So as long as if he could stay right around this, I'll be fine with that. But yeah, May was a struggle for him, absolutely. But he was really, really good in June. Munoz it looks like he's been pretty consistent. Yeah, ERA right around 4. April wasn't great, but May was good, and June record-wise wasn't very good, but it looks like he pitched okay. Walked too many. Still walking way too many. Walking 4 per 9. Carpintero's been good. Takelet's been good as our 1-2 combination in the pen. Balog has been okay in his first full season as a starter. Right around the same numbers he had last year. Record's not quite as good, but everything else is pretty much right in line. Job has been okay. Hayden Jones has not been very good, especially compared to last season. So I'm not sure what I'm going to do once I get Carter Daniels back. I don't know who he's going to replace in the rotation. It'll be either Job or Hayden Jones. Alvarado's been okay. And the rest of our bullpen's been, just okay. Sproat's put up pretty good numbers, although his FIP is high, which means he's getting a little unlucky or getting a little lucky. Same thing with Eder. Same thing with Galindo. And then Galindo and Suarez have just not been very good. So neither of them are probably long for the world here. Offensively, we've talked about defense already. Ramos has been lights out. So is Cam Collier, man. Those two have been just unreal. Gomez has been really good behind the dish. Caranto has been good. Spike's been above average. Miller's been above average. And then it gets bad from there. Castro's been below average. Todd has been below average. Ortega, Rodriguez, and Meyer have all been terrible. I don't get what's going on with Marcelo Meyer. The ratings here suggest he should be much better at shortstop than he actually is. Maybe we move him to second when we call up, we've got that prospect in Double-A, Jake Desmond. Once we move, I don't know. Because his ratings suggest he should be better than this. But he is not playing well at shortstop right now. Julio Rodriguez already at 4.5 WAR on the season. Got almost a 1,200 OPS. Cam Collier, second on the team in WAR. Most of that's derived from his defense, but the bat's coming along. He's up to 250. And if he hits 250 with some power, 260 with some power, I'm fine with that. So he's coming along. Ramos, again, his is mostly derived from his defense. He's been average with the bat. You can see, just below average with the bat. Meyer's been just above average with the bat, but 25 doubles looks pretty good. Todd, this has been a weird season. There's nothing here other than Rodriguez that really stands out. Spikes has been okay as a rookie. It's on pace for close to 30 home runs. But there's really nothing here to get super jazzed about. I was really excited about Ortega coming out of spring training with these ratings against lefties, but he's just not getting it done. Same thing with Miller. These ratings suggest that he should easily hit 300. Right now he's hitting 274 with no power, so there's not a lot there. Nelson Lopez only 13 for 50, 800 OPS. So yeah, there's just not a ton to get excited about offensively right now. Financially, we still have about $6 million in case we want to try to improve something. I don't know what's on the trade block right now. We got Andrew Vaughn on the trade block. He's making $24 million. I would like to take him from the White Sox for this season, but they would have to. He's only hitting 208, so would I? And then pitching. Yeah, there's not really anything on the trading block yet. That may change here over the next month. But right now, there's nothing. So, yeah, guys, that's going to do it. That's this disjointed May and June episode. I apologize for that. I got a couple phone calls that I had to address. But, yeah, we're hanging in there. We're 3.5 games out of first place. The Indians look pretty good. We're getting Carter Daniels here shortly, which will only strengthen our pitching staff. Offensively, I think we have the talent to get it done. It's really young talent. Lopez, Castro, Collier, Spikes. I mean, these guys are all rookies. We literally have 4 rookies in our starting lineup this year. Todd, 5 if you count Todd, who only played 50 games last year. So 5 rookies in our starting lineup, and then some other players who really aren't supposed to be in there for their bat. Ramos isn't in there for his bat. Gomez isn't in there for his bat. And then you got Rodriguez and Meyer who are in there for their bats, not necessarily their gloves. So, so it's been a weird season. I think we're going to be okay. I hope we're going to be okay. I mean, our ratings suggest that we should be, where does it have us for? Let's look at, that's not where I wanted to go. I wanted to go here and then look at this. So 45 and 33. So we're a game below our Pythag. So we're right where we should be. We have the 3rd best run differential in the American League. We're struggling on the road a bit. We're struggling in 1-run games, which tells me maybe we need to do something about the bullpen. Maybe the bullpen is a mirage. But that's something we'll take a look at next episode. From a prospect perspective, Spikes, Collier are both up. Castro's up. Zarate is out right now. That 3rd pitch doesn't look like it's ever going to develop. We may call him up, stick him in as a starter, see how he does, but I could see him ending up as a power reliever in the back of the bullpen just because that pitch isn't developing. Fastball, curveball, he needs a 3rd pitch to be a starter. Eddie Davis could potentially be trade bait if we're looking to improve our bullpen. Ortega, Desmond, Coliano, hitting pretty well in A-ball, but that glove needs to come along in order for him to really make a push, I think. Jerry Howard that's Chris Miller. I wanted to go to Jerry Howard. Jerry Howard, pretty good bat, really good catcher ability and arm, just needs some more time in the minors. Sylvie was our 1st-round pick a couple years ago. Their season just got underway. So, yeah, I mean, we still have a lot of talent in the minors. And maybe we have to take a step backwards this year to take 2 steps forward next year. We'll just sort of see how it goes. So, as always, guys, I appreciate you watching. Let me know your thoughts, and I'll talk to everybody soon. Bye-bye.